It was a quiet Tuesday evening, the kind where the air feels still, and the clock ticks a little louder than usual. I was wrapping up paperwork when my phone buzzed. A message from my wife, Claire. Late tonight. Work dinner. Don't wait up. Short. Polished. Distant. It wasn't unusual for her to have work dinners. She was in corporate marketing, and late nights were part of the job. But something about that message felt rehearsed. Cold even. The kind of tone someone uses when they've already decided on a lie. I started to type a quick reply, something casual. But before I could, another message came through. This one wasn't from her. It was from her boss's wife, Linda. Hey Mark. You and Claire coming to the dinner this Friday. I froze. Dinner this Friday? I quickly replied, sorry, did you mean tonight? Claire said there's a work dinner. Her response came seconds later. No, tonight's nothing. My husband's home. Why? My stomach dropped. The room seemed smaller. For a moment I just stared at the screen, my pulse pounding in my ears. I typed back, no reason. Just checking. Then I sat there, the phone still glowing in my hand, and everything suddenly made sense. The late night showers, the sudden extra effort with her makeup. The new perfume she said was just something she liked. I didn't rage. I didn't panic. I just felt a heavy, almost clinical calm. The kind you feel right before a storm. So, instead of confronting her right away, I texted back. That's odd. Your boss's wife just asked about you both. No response. For a full hour. When she finally replied, it was a single line. What are you talking about? The kind of message that tries to sound casual, but bleeds panic between the words. I smiled faintly and put the phone down. I'd played this game long enough to know the next move wasn't to accuse. It was to wait. That night, I poured myself a drink and opened the shared laptop she often used for work, the one she didn't realize still synced her calendar to our cloud. And that's when I saw it. Right there, under the calendar labeled Client Meetings, was an entry for that night. Not work dinner. Not strategy session. Just one simple event titled Dinner D. No last name. No details. Just that single letter, enough to make my chest tighten. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the screen. D. Her boss's name was Daniel. I had met him twice, charming, too confident, the kind of man who smiled like he already owned the room. Claire had always spoken about him with admiration, even excitement. He's just a great mentor, she'd said once, and I believed her. Now I wasn't so sure. I scrolled through her emails, the ones automatically backed up to our shared drive. There it was, messages labeled project feedback and campaign plans. Innocent on the surface, but the timestamps told another story. Midnight. 1 a.m. to 17 a.m. No one talks about marketing strategy at 2 a.m. Still, I didn't explode. I closed the laptop slowly, finished my drink, and sat in silence for a long time. I wanted to be wrong, I hoped I was wrong. But deep down I already knew. The truth always hides in plain sight. When Claire came home around midnight, she tried to move quietly, as if I'd already be asleep. But I wasn't. I was sitting in the living room, lights dim, the laptop on the coffee table. Hey, she said, startled. You're still up? Yeah, I said calmly. Just working late. How was dinner? She hesitated just for a second, but it was enough. Oh, it was fine. Long meeting, lots of small talk. I nodded, pretending to believe her. With Daniel. Her eyes flickered barely, but I saw it. What? No, with the team. Why? I shrugged. Just curious. His wife texted me earlier. Asked if we were coming to dinner this Friday. Said he was home tonight. Her face went pale. She blinked once, twice, then forced a laugh. She must be confused. Maybe, I said quietly. I stood up, kissed her forehead, and said, Good night, Claire. She smiled faintly, relieved, thinking she'd escaped. But what she didn't know was that I'd already sent screenshots of her messages and calendar to my private email. The next morning I called my lawyer. I didn't confront her. I didn't yell, didn't demand answers, didn't beg for honesty that was never coming. Instead, I went quiet, the kind of quiet that makes people nervous. Over the next few days, Claire carried on as if nothing had happened. She'd text during the day. Miss you. Don't forget milk. Love you. Words that once felt warm now sounded hollow, rehearsed, mechanical. She'd leave early for meetings. come home smelling of expensive cologne that wasn't mine, and fall asleep instantly facing the wall. But I waited. I needed more than suspicion, I needed truth. That Friday, the night of our supposed dinner with Daniel's wife, I told Claire I'd meet her at the restaurant after finishing some paperwork. She smiled, kissed my cheek and said, "Don't be late." I wasn't. I arrived early enough to see her step out of Daniel's car, laughing like she hadn't in months. They didn't see me. They walked inside together, close enough that their hands brushed more than once. I waited 15 minutes before entering. I greeted Daniel's wife, already seated at the table, and watched confusion twist her face when I mentioned they'd arrived together. Her smile faded. She excused herself to make a call. Within seconds, I saw her phone light up across the room, right in front of Daniel. He froze. Claire turned pale. It was like watching two actors forget their lines mid-performance. I didn't stay for the rest. I just walked out, no scene, no shouting, just the sound of my footsteps echoing behind me. The next morning, the house was silent. My things were gone. The lawyer had already sent the documents to her office. When she called, I let it ring. When she texted, "Please, can we talk?" I didn't reply. 3 days later, her mother called me, crying, apologizing, saying Claire made a mistake. But that's the thing about mistakes, they end when you stop choosing them. I built my peace one quiet hour at a time. Sold the house, changed my number, started again. I don't hate her. I don't love her either. She taught me something no marriage counselor ever could. Sometimes silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of dignity walking away.